Time to move? Skip the hassles of selling during the holiday season and sell your home directly to Opendoor. Request an all-cash offer in minutes, close, and get paid in days. You can even pick your close date so you can move after New Year's. Start your move at Opendoor.com or download the Opendoor app. Opendoor is represented by Opendoor Brokerage Inc., license 02061130 in California, and Opendoor Brokerage LLC in its other markets. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Thursday, November 21st, 2024. Born on this date in 1933, NASA astronaut and Air Force Colonel Henry Hartsfield of Birmingham. It's also National Rural Health Day, something that's appropriate to think about in Alabama in these days of dwindling rural hospital and emergency care. Now, it's not lost on us that the National Organization of State Offices of Rural Health made this day the third Thursday of November, knowing good and well that many of us are going to spend the fourth Thursday of November deep frying a turkey. Today, let's talk about a lawsuit against law enforcement, an alternative idea for a retired ship, and chilly weather. My name's Ike Morgan, and we're down in Alabama. A lawsuit has now been filed regarding last year's arrests of Escambia County school board members, school employees, and 2 journalists, reports AL.com's John Sharp. Now, the lawsuit claims that Escambia County DA Stephen Billy, Sheriff Heath Jackson, and 4 deputies violated the constitutional rights of the 4 plaintiffs. They argue the arrests were in retaliation for the ousting of Superintendent Michelle McClung. It accuses the defendants of being, quote, malicious, abusive, and retaliatory. The plaintiff's attorney, Jared McClain, accused the local sheriff and DA of, quote, going after anyone who they thought was possibly standing in the way of Michelle McClung, end quote. Note that a lawsuit offers one side of a story. Charges against the plaintiffs were over whether they disclosed grand jury secrets. The lawsuit claims that a subpoena in question obviously came from Billy, the DA, and not a grand jury. A couple months after Billy recused himself from the criminal case, the state AG's office dropped the charges. Well, there's opposition to turning the historic SS United States into a big artificial reef, reports AL.com's Heather Gann. Not that the desires of New York concrete businessman John Quadrozzi Jr. are a consideration at this point. Okaloosa County, Florida, has bought the ship, and it's expected to first spend time at port in Mobile Bay to be prepared for its final deployment about 20 miles off the Florida Panhandle. But Quadrozzi and a backer are trying to stop the boat from being hauled south. It's still docked in Philadelphia as weather concerns have backed up its departure date. The alternate plans would include creating an environmentally focused, sustainable floating ecosystem with residences and commercial and industrial spaces. Right now, I'm imagining a podcast studio with a couple of fishing lines tossed out. They ought to invest in that incubator. Now, for the record, Okaloosa County officials who bought the boat say they haven't even heard from Quadrozzi. So the plans remain. Mobile Bay, then the Gulf Bottom, for what they say will be the world's largest artificial reef. Well, yesterday, most of us felt the air about us get a little chillier and drier behind a cold front, reports AL.com's Lee Morgan. Now, depending where you're listening to this, it might be already about as warm as it's going to get until Saturday or maybe even Sunday. Tonight and tomorrow night will be downright bone chilling by some standards, with Mobile expecting lows in the low 40s and central and northern Alabama looking at low to mid 30s. And it could be even cooler Friday night. That's bring in the pets, plants, and kids weather. Anyone north of Tuscaloosa might not see 60 degrees again until Sunday. Well, thanks everybody for listening to us. We are going to be back here tomorrow. Until then, y'all come by anytime you want to and see what we're doing on the internet at AL.com.